be.
Hi, Sean.
I talked to you yesterday.
Good. You are fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes.
A great host. Show is radio. Listen to his show.
Absolutely, 95.5.
One mic. All I need is one mic. That's all I need.
Hey! Shelley Winter Show, live, local, topical, and relevant, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got a show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I came in hot tonight because I was at the going away party. I got to tell you, I love my life. I've got a really, really cool life. And it's because of you guys who listen, right? Because I'm not here on the air every night, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9, without you guys, right? If you guys didn't listen, they would say, hey, Shelley, nobody's listening. You got to get out of here. But because of you, I have this dream job of sitting on the radio every night, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9, talking to you, the smartest, greatest listening audience ever in the history of talk radio, the audience that listens from 7 to 9, Monday through Friday. And so because of you, I have two friends, me, Shelley Winter, scholarship kid from Harlem, New York. I have two friends who are now ambassadors. Herschel Walker technically is an ambassador designate because he gets sworn in next week. But Bill White and Herschel Walker are very dear friends of mine. Like, I have their cell phone numbers in my phone. I talk to them all the time. And they're friends of mine. Like, they're friends of mine. They're not like guys on the periphery. Oh, you ran for office. Oh, you had the Buckhead movement. No, these are friends of mine. And they're both ambassadors now to countries that I've been to the Bahamas, but it was years ago. When I go back to the Bahamas now, I'm going to visit my friend, the ambassador. I've never been to Belgium. When I go to Belgium sometime next summer, I'm going to visit my friend, the ambassador. How cool is that? And I thank all of you because I don't have these friends without you listening and me being on the radio. And they've become friends of mine. And they're now ambassadors. Well, ambassador designate, but we know what that means. But isn't that cool? How cool is that? I love my life, and it's all because of you, the listeners of this great station, and I appreciate all of you so much. That's why I get so happy when you guys call in and at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. That's why when I meet you out and about, I'm so happy, and I want to take your pictures, take pictures with you, because of you, you allow me to live this life that I love so much, and it really is a great life. I've got God's favor on my life, and I cannot say enough how important that is to me, and I thank so many of you. So I was at Bones, Magic Mike, and it's just creme de la creme. I didn't get to eat, right, because they all sat down for dinner as I had to leave. I did get to say a couple words before I left. I said some nice words about my two friends, Herschel Walker and Ambassador Bill White, and then I had to run out of there. But they were getting ready to sit down to dinner. 8-ounce filet mignon. I saw the menu. I took a picture of the menu, right? And I was like, So I was hoping, as I was leaving, right, I was hoping that someone would say, well, Shelley can't stay. Let's make him a to-go plate. But it didn't happen. I raced out. But met a lot of listeners, a lot of people who listened to the show, took a bunch of selfies. If you follow me on Facebook, I posted it on Facebook. But I just love my life. I want to start here. I got to start here. So the story dropped yesterday. Well, we were on the air. Today's what, Wednesday? The story dropped like late afternoon on Tuesday. And I printed it to talk about the story. Like, I printed this story because I wanted to get to it, but I did not get to it last night, right? And so the story was a Politico story, and it was the leaking of text messages on Telegram. So let's understand, Telegram is an app that's secure, right? You can't hack it. It's not public. It's Telegram. So I'm not on Telegram. I have regular text messages, and I'm in several text groups. Text threads, if you will, right? Different friends of mine, and it's some of us, just maybe 3 of us. Some of them is 4 or 5 of us, but they're all personal friends of mine. And we share things amongst each other that are really, if someone were to ever release them, I don't think I'd get fired, but I'd be in a little trouble, right? Because of things that you talk, that the way you speak to your friends. Now, there are no anti-Semitic jokes on there. There are no racist jokes on there. There might be a text thread with some old friends of mine where certain words might have been used that are now not good words to use, but we grew up using them, so it's hard not to use them in private conversation. But this text thread with the young Republicans, at first I was like, oh, this is concerning. Why are these people talking to each other like this? But then I realized something, right? So let me give you, some of them, they used the N-word. They talked about burning and gas chambers and things like that. They called themselves, one guy says, I love Hitler. Now, if you lift these text messages out of context, you have no idea what they're saying. You just have a text message and a news report that says one guy said, I love Hitler. But you have no idea what was going on before that. Now, I will tell you, none of the text threads that I'm on do we tell these types of jokes. But I will tell you that there are things said that I don't want to be made public, and neither do the friends on the text messages that I have. None of us do. I'm sure, Magic Mike is not a political guy, but I'm sure he's got some old friends that they text back and forth. There's some raunchy stuff on there. Raunchy jokes, women jokes, you could be called sexist for. And so when I saw this story, at first I was kind of mad because it's Republicans, but then I realized this is a political hit job. Let's go back. Let's talk about what happened. One guy was on this text thread. He's mad at everyone else. So he kind of lurked in the shadows, storing up the text threads, storing up the text messages. And then he dropped them and leaked them to Politico. It's total hit job, not by a Democrat, by another Republican. Because he's mad that he wasn't elected chair, or there's some Republican fighting going on. Now, I'm not excusing the language, and I'm not excusing these young people. And by the way, they're not young people. Some of them work in politics. One's a comms director for the AG of Kansas. Another one is a state representative. So when you say young Republicans, these guys are in their 20s and early 30s. They're not like teenagers, okay? Let's get that out of the way right now. But I realized, and so I thought about it, and I said, okay, it's a political hit job. I don't excuse the language, and whatever happens to you, right? Because I'm picking up on the people who said when people did not respond correctly to the murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk, remember you guys said to me, you argued with me, you yelled at me, you said that they should be fired because they didn't respond correctly to the death of someone you liked. So following your thinking, I can't sit here and tell you these kids should not be fired. That's free speech, right? Let's be consistent here. Now, I can be consistent and say, hey, whatever happens to them happens to them. I don't think they should be fired. If the people that they work for want to fire them, okay, fine. Does it look bad? Of course it looks bad. Of course it looks bad. They play to every stereotype of Republicans. Anti-Semitic, racist. All of those things. They're in the text. They use the N-word several times. One guy uses it a lot. One guy makes watermelon jokes as the guy's in a restaurant. This is what they're doing. Now, we can sit here and get all up in arms, and we can allow Democrats who want to share this story to say, see, Shelley, look at the people that you are on the side of. Look how they talk to each other. Well, it's a handful of them. One, and they were in a private conversation. Here's my point, and here's my final, I guess, my real opinion on this after going all over the place. If everybody was held to a standard of what your private thoughts are, or even your private thoughts with friends, which are still private, then none of us need to be working anywhere where we are working. We all need to be entrepreneurs and have our own businesses. This is the truth of the matter. The fact of the matter is, what my private thoughts are my private thoughts. And if I share my private thoughts, what I think are my private thoughts, because I'm sharing them with friends on an app that you can't hack or anything, right? I'm sharing my private thoughts. When those private thoughts become public, should I face consequences to them? Should I face consequences for dirty jokes? Should I face consequences for sexist jokes? Should I face consequences for racist jokes? I don't know, I don't know. I don't know the honest answer to that question. I do know this, that if you want to go down this road, Democrats, African Americans, others, if you want to go down this road, then everybody should be made to turn their phones in before you're hired for any job and let your potential employer go through your text messages, every single one. Let's play that game. Let's do that. And let's see who screams the loudest. Because I can guarantee you, these Republican text threads are nothing compared to what people share amongst their friends on a daily basis. Nothing. People can get on social media and publicly talk about how much they're morally superior to everyone else. But the fact remains, if all of us were to turn in our phones right now and make every private text message public, none of us would work in the public sector or the private sector ever again. And let me say this. At the end of the day, there's a reason why a wife or a husband cannot testify against the other. Because a long, long time ago, the world recognized that people in private talk differently than they do in public. The world realized a long, long time ago that a wife will say things to her husband and a husband will say things to his wife that they will never share publicly. And I, for one, believe wholeheartedly that when you're speaking privately to someone else, particularly if you know that text thread or that email thread is a private emails or text with other people, that when if they ever become public, you should be left alone, period. Just like if you post publicly your thoughts on the death of someone that other people like and you may not like, you shouldn't be fired for that either. Either we go all the way with this or we don't. We can't have it both ways. It's the Shelley Winter Show. 404-872-0750. 1-800-WSB-TALK. I am feeling great. I have two friends who are now ambassadors. I have two friends. Like they're friends. They're not like I'm looking from afar. Oh, this guy, Bill White, he's the ambassador to Belgium. No, he's my friend. Herschel Walker is now the ambassador designate to the Bahamas. No, he's my friend. They're ambassadors. I cannot wait. I'm so happy for them. Couldn't happen to two better guys. Herschel Walker, small town in Georgia, played football. Played professional football, won the Heisman Trophy, took care of his family, started a business, a successful business, ran for Senate, he lost. Now he's an ambassador. That's God's favor. You can laugh, you can jeer, you can say all the things you want to. Bill White, long 25 years with Brian, found love, successful businessman, is now an ambassador to Belgium. That's God's favor. We'll be right back.
Long days, short nights, when you're